Advice from Atisha's heart. When Venerable Atisha came to Tibet, he first went to Ngari, where he remained for 2 years, giving many teachings to the disciples of Lha Changchub Ö. After 2 years had passed, he decided to return to India, and Lha Changchub Ö requested him to give one last teaching before he left. Atisha replied that he had already given them all the advice they needed, but Lha Changchub Ö persisted in his request, and so Atisha accepted and gave the following advice. How wonderful! Friends, since you already have great knowledge and clear understanding, whereas I am of no importance and have little wisdom, it is not suitable for you to request advice from me. However, because you, dear friends, whom I cherish from my heart, have requested me, I shall give you this essential advice from my inferior and childish mind. Friends, until you attain enlightenment, the spiritual teacher is indispensable. Therefore, rely upon the holy spiritual guide. And until you realize ultimate truth, listening is indispensable. Therefore, listen to the instructions of the spiritual guide. And since you cannot become a Buddha merely by understanding Dharma, practice earnestly with understanding. Avoid places that disturb your mind, and always remain where your virtues increase. Until you attain stable realizations, worldly amusement are harmful. Therefore, abide in a place where there are no such distractions, and avoid friends who cause you to increase delusions, and rely upon those who increase your virtue. This you should take to heart. since there is never a time when worldly activities come to an end. Limit your activities and dedicate your virtues throughout the day and night, and always watch your mind. Because you have received advice, whenever you are not meditating, always practice in accordance with what your spiritual guide says. If you practice with great devotion, results will arise immediately without your having to wait for a long time. If, from your heart, you practice in accordance with Dharma, both food and resources will come naturally to hand. Friends, the things you desire give no more satisfaction than drinking sea water. Therefore, practice contentment. Avoid all haughty, conceited, proud, and arrogant minds, and remain peaceful and subdued. And avoid activities that are said to be meritorious, but which in fact are obstacles to Dharma. Profit and respect are nooses of the maras, so brush them aside like stones on the path. And words of praise and fame serve only to beguile us. Therefore, blow them away as you would blow your nose. Since the happiness, pleasure, and friends you gathered in this life last only for a moment, Put them all behind you. And since future lives last for a very long time, gather up riches to provide for the future. You will have to depart, leaving everything behind, so do not be attached to anything. And generate compassion for lowly beings, and especially avoid despising or humiliating them. Have no hatred for enemies and no attachment for friends. Do not be jealous of others' good qualities, but out of admiration, adopt them yourself. And do not look for faults in others, but look for faults in yourself and purge them like bad blood. Do not contemplate your own good qualities, but contemplate the good qualities of others, and respect everyone as a servant would. See all living beings as your father or mother, and love them as if you were their child. Always keep a smiling face and a loving mind, and speak truthfully without malice. And if you talk too much with little meaning, you will make mistakes. Therefore, speak in moderation, only when necessarily. If you engage in many meaningless activities, your virtuous activities will degenerate. Therefore, stop activities that are not spiritual, as it is completely meaningless to put effort into activities that have no essence. If the things you desire do not come, it is due to karma created long ago. Therefore, keep a happy and relaxed mind. And beware, offending a holy being is worse than dying. Therefore, be honest and straightforward. And since all the happiness and suffering of this life arise from previous action, do not blame others. And all happiness comes from the blessings of your spiritual guide. Therefore, always repay his kindness. And since you cannot tame the minds of others until you have tamed your own, begin by taming your own mind. And since you will definitely have to depart without the wealth you have accumulated, do not accumulate negativity for the sake of wealth. Distracting enjoyments have no essence. Therefore, sincerely practice giving. And always keep pure moral discipline, for it leads to beauty in this life and happiness hereafter. And since hatred is rife in these impure times, don the armor of patience, free from anger. You remained in saṃsāra through the power of laziness. Therefore, ignite the fire of the effort of application. And since this human life is wasted by indulging in distractions. Now is the time to practice concentration. Being under the influence of wrong views, you do not realize the ultimate nature of things. Therefore, investigate correct meanings. Friends, there is no happiness in this swarm of samsara. So move to the firm ground of liberation. Meditate according to the advice of your spiritual guide and dry up the river of samsaric suffering. You should consider this well, because it is not just words from the mouth, but sincere advice from the heart. If you practice like this, you will delight me, and you will bring happiness to yourself and others. I, who am ignorant, request you to take this advice to heart. This is the advice that the holy being, Venerable Atisha, gave to Venerable Changchub Ö. May all be virtuous.